The smell hit me first. Burning flesh has a sweetness to it that people don't tell you about. Sweet and wrong, like meat left too long on a grill. My sister held the curling iron against my left cheek, her hand steady, her eyes calculating. I always wondered what your face would look like without that perfect skin, Jennifer said, her voice barely above a whisper. We were in the employee bathroom of my flagship salon in downtown Chicago. She'd asked me to check a plumbing issue after closing. Stupid. I'd been so stupid. The pain came in waves. First the shock of heat, then the searing, then something deeper as the iron reached nerve endings I didn't know existed in my face. I could feel my skin bubbling, could smell it cooking. My phone was in my hand. I'd been showing her pictures of my daughter when she grabbed my wrist, twisted it behind my back, and produced the iron from her purse. The thing about beauty, she continued, adjusting her grip to press harder, is that it's temporary. Business acumen is forever. And you never had business acumen. You just had this. She gestured vaguely at my face with her free hand. I didn't scream. Something in my brain had clicked into survival mode. Instead, I raised my phone. She'd only pinned one arm and started taking pictures. My hand was shaking so badly the first 3 were blurred, but muscle memory from years of documenting salon work took over. I steadied my wrist against my hip and kept shooting. What are you doing? Jennifer's eyes flickered to my phone, but she didn't let go. Documenting your assault. Who's going to believe you over me? I'm the one who actually went to business school. I'm the one who worked at Estee Lauder. You're just the pretty girl who got lucky. The iron lifted. My cheek felt like it was still on fire. The pain radiating through my jaw, my eye socket, my ear. I could feel fluid running down my neck. Blood or plasma or something worse. The bathroom mirror showed me what I couldn't yet process, a perfect rectangular burn, deep red with white edges, the exact shape of a 1.5-inch curling barrel. Jennifer was wiping down the iron with paper towels. Methodical. Practiced. Here's what's going to happen, she said, meeting my eyes in the mirror. You're going to sign over majority ownership of Bellissima Collective to me. All 47 locations. The product line. The training academy. Everything. Bellissima Collective. I'd started with one chair in a strip mall in Naperville 15 years ago. Now we had locations in 12 states, a signature product line in 3,000 stores, and a training program that certified 500 estheticians annually. Last year's revenue $47 million. My sister had wanted in for years. I'd given her a director position, then a VP title, then a seat on the board. Nothing was ever enough. You have until Friday, Jennifer continued, dropping the paper towels in the toilet and flushing. That gives you 4 days to think about whether you want your other cheek to match. Or maybe I work on your hands next. Hard to do hair with burned fingers. She left. I heard her heels clicking down the hallway, the back door alarm chirping as she exited. I looked at my phone. 17 photos. The last 5 were clear. Jennifer's face, the iron, my burning skin, all in sharp focus. I texted them to my cloud backup, my lawyer and my husband in that order. Then I called 911. The paramedics arrived in 8 minutes. They were professional, calm, but I saw the shock in the younger one's eyes when he got a good look at the wound. Ma'am, I need you to tell me what happened, the older paramedic said, already prepping an IV. My sister held a curling iron to my face for approximately 90 seconds, I said. My voice sounded strange. Flat. She's demanding I sign over my business. I have photos and I need this documented for legal purposes. They exchanged glances. The older one nodded. We'll note everything in our report. Northwestern Memorial's burn unit was expecting me. As we pulled in, I saw my husband's car already in the emergency bay. David met the ambulance doors, his face white. Jesus Christ, he breathed. Jennifer did this. I nodded. Speaking was getting harder. My face was swelling. The burn unit team moved fast. Dr. Sarah Martinez, the attending physician, examined the wound under bright lights, while I tried not to whimper. She was maybe 40, with steady hands and kind eyes. This is a full-thickness 3rd-degree burn, she said quietly. We need to debride immediately and start planning for grafts. You're looking at multiple surgeries. Will there be scarring? I asked, though I already knew. Yes, significant scarring. I'm going to be honest with you. Facial burns of this depth and location. We'll do everything we can, but you'll have permanent disfigurement. Permanent. The word hung in the air like smoke. I need everything documented, I said. Photos, measurements, treatment notes. This was assault with intent to coerce a business transaction. Dr. Martinez nodded slowly. I'm going to call in Dr. James Chen from Reconstructive Surgery. And Tara, you should know, I'm a mandatory reporter. This kind of intentional burn injury, I'm required to notify police and file with the medical board. Good, I said. They admitted me that night. The first surgery was the next morning, debriding the dead tissue, cleaning the wound, applying temporary grafts. I woke up with my entire head wrapped in bandages, and my husband sitting beside my bed. The police want to talk to you, David said. And your lawyer is in the waiting room. And he hesitated. Jennifer called. She said she heard about your accident and hopes you recover soon. I laughed, which hurt. Of course she did. Detective Rosa Kimball was a 20-year veteran of CPD's Assault Division. She sat beside my hospital bed with a recorder and a notepad, and I told her everything. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Miss Hayes, I'm going to be straight with you. Sister-on-sister violence cases are hard to prosecute. Defense will say it was an accident, a fight that got out of hand. Without witnesses, I have photos. I interrupted. 17 photos I took during the assault. Time-stamped, geotagged, showing her face, the weapon, and the injury as it was occurring. Detective Kimball's eyebrows rose. You took photos while she was burning you? I run a 47-location salon chain, Detective. I document everything. She smiled, small, but genuine. Can I see them? I walked her through each image. Jennifer's face calm and focused. The iron pressed against my skin. The progression of the burn. The bathroom setting. Everything. This is the best assault documentation I've seen in 15 years. Detective Kimball said. I'm bringing charges today. Aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, attempted extortion, and I'm going to talk to the DA about adding kidnapping. She didn't kidnap me. She trapped you in a bathroom and tortured you to force a business transaction. That's felony false imprisonment in Illinois. Let me worry about the charges. The story broke on day 3. Someone at the hospital leaked it, probably inevitably with the number of staff involved in my care. Local beauty mogul attacked by sister in business dispute. The Tribune picked it up, then the Sun-Times, then the national outlets. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. I had David screen everything except calls from my medical team and lawyers. Dr. Martinez visited twice daily. By day 4, she'd assembled what she called the team. 11 burn specialists from across the Midwest, all consulting on my case. Your injury is complex, she explained during rounds. The depth, the location, the size. We want multiple expert opinions on the reconstruction approach. I've brought in specialists from Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, and Johns Hopkins. We're also consulting with industrial burn specialists who usually work with manufacturing accidents. Why so many? I asked. Because you deserve the best possible outcome, Dr. Martinez said simply. And because burns inflicted deliberately, especially to extort business concessions, represent a unique category of assault that needs to be thoroughly documented for legal purposes. She paused. Also, frankly, because what happened to you is horrifying, and every burn specialist I contacted wanted to help. The consultations happened over video calls, with specialists examining my wounds through high-resolution cameras. I listened to them discuss graft sites, tissue expansion, laser treatments, dermabrasion, medical terms I'd never wanted to learn. Dr. Patricia Reynolds, from Mayo Clinic, was particularly blunt. Miss Hayes, even with the best reconstruction, you're looking at visible scarring for life. The contracture risk is significant. There may be functional limitations in your facial expressions. I want you to understand the reality.
Oh,
I understand, I said. I also want you to understand that I need every detail documented. Expert opinions, treatment recommendations, long-term prognosis, all of it. Dr. Reynolds nodded. Your legal team will have everything. On day 5, Jennifer was arrested. I watched the news coverage from my hospital bed, my sister in handcuffs, being walked into the 18th District Station. She looked small on camera, vulnerable. She'd worn a soft pink sweater and minimal makeup. Calculated, even then. Her lawyer issued a statement. Miss Jennifer Hayes categorically denies these allegations. This was a tragic accident between sisters who have a complicated relationship. We look forward to clearing her name in court. My lawyer Margaret Voss visited that afternoon. She'd been my corporate attorney for 8 years, but this was criminal territory. I've brought in someone from our white-collar crime division, Margaret said. This assault was connected to business extortion. That makes it federal. She introduced me to Thomas Park, a former prosecutor who now specialized in corporate malfeasance cases. The U.S. attorney is interested, Thomas said without preamble. Assault to coerce a business transaction crosses into federal racketeering territory, especially given the value of Bellissima Collective and the interstate nature of your business. What does that mean? I asked. It means Jennifer isn't just facing state assault charges. We're building a federal case for extortion, interstate commerce interference, and potentially RICO violations if we can establish a pattern. I blinked. RICO, that's organized crime. RICO applies to any pattern of racketeering activity, Thomas explained. Your sister has been systematically positioning herself to take over your company. We've subpoenaed her emails and texts. There's evidence she's been planning this for months, researching how to force ownership transfers, consulting with certain attorneys about hostile takeovers, even practicing with a curling iron to know exactly how much pressure to apply. My stomach turned. She practiced. We found the iron in her apartment. Different model but same barrel size. There are burn marks on a mannequin head. Premeditated. Planned. My sister had rehearsed burning my face. The medical board investigation began on day 7. Dr. Martinez explained it during morning rounds. The Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation opened a case, she said. Not against you, against the systemic issue of assault used to coerce business transactions in professional settings. You're not the first beauty industry professional to experience violence from a family member who wanted control of a successful business. She handed me a tablet showing a video conference. 11 faces looked back at me, the burn specialists who'd been consulting on my case. Miss Hayes, said Dr. Chen, from Reconstructive Surgery. We've collectively submitted a report to the Medical Licensing Board, the Illinois Attorney General's Office, and the National Burn Association. Your case represents a category of assault that intersects medical ethics, corporate governance, and family violence in ways that need systematic study and prevention. Dr. Reynolds from Mayo added, we're also submitting to the American Academy of Dermatology and the Professional Beauty Association. Beauty industry professionals face unique vulnerabilities to family violence because they often work in close physical proximity to relatives who may feel entitled to their success. We want to prevent this from happening to someone else, Dr. Martinez said softly. I looked at their faces on the screen, doctors I'd never met before this week, now invested in my case, in my recovery, in changing systems that allowed this to happen. Thank you, I whispered. On day 10, they did the first major graft. Skin from my thigh, carefully harvested and transplanted to my cheek. I'd have more surgeries, tissue expansion, scar revision, possibly fat grafting, years of procedures ahead. But I'd also have something else. Evidence, medical records from 11 of the country's top burn specialists, photos documenting every stage of injury and healing, expert testimony about premeditation, severity and long-term impact. Detective Kimball visited after the surgery. Grand jury indicted on all charges, she said. States moving forward, with aggravated battery and attempted extortion. Feds are still building their case, but it's looking strong. What about Bellissima? I asked. Your emergency restraining order is holding. Jennifer can't come within 500 feet of any company property or contact any employees. The board voted unanimously to remove her from all positions. I nodded, exhausted from anesthesia but satisfied. There's one more thing, Detective Kimball said. The Burn Center Consortium, that group of specialists treating you, they've submitted their findings to the Medical Board of Illinois. They're recommending new protocols for documenting assault injuries that cross into corporate coercion. Your case is going to change how we handle these crimes. She stood to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, Miss Hayes, most victims don't think to document during an assault. What you did, taking those photos while she was burning you, that takes something I don't have a word for. After she left, I looked at my phone. The photos were still there, backed up in 3 locations, 17 images that told the complete story of what my sister had done. I'd built Bellissima from nothing. Now I'd rebuilt my face the same way, with documentation, expertise, and refusal to let anyone take what I'd earned. My sister had been wrong about one thing. Beauty was temporary, yes, but strength left scars, and scars were permanent proof of survival.